It has become well known at the El Dorado Country Club. Donald has unveiled a golden statue likeness. Less a few kilos, senza neck fold farfallina, Italian slang for female gateway to heaven anatomy. All this golden worship, ballroom and architectural monolith. Didn't Moses return from a conference, had a shit fit over a golden calf? But it could be that the sculpture Donald is an insult to the bovine. Postscript, presidential crypto donors did their best to stiff the sculptor. Penny arcade fortune teller prediction, end of days. When the Knicks win the championship with the game clock 0 and an arrow three-pointer descends through the hoop, the backstop shatters into glistening shards. House lights blink, the entire New York organization raptured. Benches empty, God's team ascends to heaven. The golden statue animates as Donnie consumes his final cheeseburger. The Christian right insists that their prediction is true. Donald is God's instrument, but the statue can't speak. Gives birth through his neck folds to a Bosch-like devil. The MAGA believers look skyward, but they're all left behind to burn in Goddess Shiva's liberal withering fire. Raised on Dr. Seuss and Ogden Nash. I'm the kid that forgot his pencil, didn't do homework, doesn't have paper, left his books on the bus. Bullied because I was tall, but not tough. Straight A's, meddled in English, till the wonders of Marlboro Cool and illicit hashish, purple microdots set hooks into my memory. Traded Catcher in the Rye prep school education for the buzz. Traded Dad's roof for the church steps master bedroom. But I survived the afflictions, survived the dope, survived addiction just for today. Here's my hope that you find my soul somewhat resonant with yours in these poorly rhymed words and punctuation, because alone on this human island, we relate or we die alone. We are all faced with this imperative dilemma: when to part with our cherished possessions, for we all have appointments to keep and promises. Well, I promise not to further plagiarize the frost god. Figured you guys would get that. Back on track with my daily grind, the sliding door restored, just enough time to caffeinate and describe me some doom. A concert tonight celebrated Dying Day blues musician, an encore hoped for. An uprising tomorrow, merry revolutionaries pick sides. I'm too old to participate in the next American Civil War game. This unorganized, not so well-armed, squinty-eyed doughboy militia's right to keep and bear white children. Just wait, MAGA, tell me now, when all y'all has a daughter knocked up by a Brown, which blue state you visiting? How much health care does $1 billion a day buy? All you listen good now. Next thing is the domestic firearms Second Amendment roundup. So I'll just write poems and spit truth as I see it, resonate with Christina Vane until they come with the noose. On to some more music. Sinead O'Connor was one of us. Cut her teeth in Dublin's Temple Bar. The beautiful shaved head, creative spirit, now just bones in the yard. Rock star patron sainthood, Ireland's punk bard, Joan of Arc. Called religion out on the red carpet. The faithful were enraged. Ripped up an image of their hallowed masthead on the world's media Saturday Night Live stage, unafraid. Sinead screams, "Me too," ahead of the curve, career crucifixion for her convictions. Unfortunately, her message still resonates today. With the ray of hope, there will be another. Ireland still grows poets. Dance cut short, spiritual disease of denial that changes hats and reinfects. It can't see the forest through the trees. It gets lonely there in isolation, and we know alone can be bad company. When the dark thoughts come, pick up the pen or the phone. There's always a friend. Circumvent the coup de grace performance. Maybe Sinead and Carl Wallinger are lucky in a way. Few depart easily. They made their eternal cultural mark. Only their ashes left to witness Orange Hitler's ghost reborn. H block. Bobby Sands passed this way. Longcash prison IRA inmate. Held without fair trial, incarcerated for his faith, in a cell smeared with excrement until his shell could produce no more. Struck out against the British oppressors with all he had left to sacrifice his life for an Ireland made whole. Not yet, Bobby, not yet. We will never, ever, ever forget. Pride Month is upon us. Repugnant and apartheid. You mandate we all conform to God's gender binary, impose your perception of God's agenda on me, ostracized, crucified, burned at the stake, buried outside the pearly gate. Do we threaten you that much? Perhaps you're out of touch with your truth. Secrets kept, sworn an oath, no one would ever know, kept on Brokeback Mountain down low. As we sit here and drag, after all, not one of us was born wearing silly rags. So it all comes down to choices and individual taste. While you may think I'm over the top, I may think you haven't a clue. Perhaps your mom still dresses you. Does her awful tape still play in your head? If we could just keep our thoughts to ourselves, the world would be a better place, because the opposite of love is not hate, it's control. Translucent sarcophagus, a casket made of glass. Don't lay me out in no finery, it won't matter to me. Maybe just score an old thrift shop Harris tweed sport coat and a Von Dutch tee for a little two-wheel literary decorum in my passing. Hands clasped on my JBL football, play me some Dying Day Chris Whitley blues on the resonator. Don't bury me with nothing the gravedigger might desire. When I'm down on the dirt floor, I prefer my crypt not be disturbed until my skull is worthy of display for Wiccan rituals. Don't roll that stone away for at least a few years. I'll be lonely by then, and a good listener. Perhaps an occasional pet raven's pep in the forehead, good night, would suffice for payment. Post-mortem employment is scarce. Maybe display me on the fireside mantel. I don't bite anymore. My face in a permanent smile. Happy to scare the children. So, party at Ground Zero, Fishbone credit. Jerusalem, the holy city, it's pilgrimage season at the end of days. A little subway tunnel steps blasphemy preach, like Jesus did before the rocket's red glare. City of David to the Temple Mount, vendors hawking lambs at the subway gate. Be sure to get your ceremonial knives sharpened for the sacrifice. Mushrooms available for altered state, a more vivid sensory bloodletting scream. Some really do see the angel of David live on 3D. After party baptism at the Siloam pool, grilled young mutton hors d'oeuvres served nightly. Queen Helena's cellars for a ceremonial sip. A Sea of Galilee smoked whitefish, break the fast traditionally. Ever-present pomegranate water ice, a desert snack hydration. Netanyahu says it's a Philly thing. Goyams remember the visit. Pay respects to the Church of the Holy Empty Sarcophagus. It's where he was laid out for a day or three. Locals say the stone rolled away, as if by magic. But I ponder if he really ascended, crossed the holy border through the concrete wall. Why roll the stone? Ball lightning spotted over the Vatican conclave smokestack. Redbird cardinals telepathically notified. Boys Club, put on your hair suits, get on your knees, there's penance for you to make. All executive positions are eliminated. Confirmed trans chimera Jesus Messiah sightings over the Fertile Crescent. Allahu Akbar, who's that? Armed with an uncloaked battery of depleted uranium, terrible swift sword truth marching cruise missiles. Appears to each faith as their favorite deity. Donald, She, Vladimir, Bibi, and Kim, Joel Osteen, and the Moon family simultaneously turn to dust. Their Babylon towers collectively fall. A common thought enters through all human consciousness in a pleasant, effeminate voice. Sit down, shut up, and listen. Yeah, it's me. I'm back. Higher power to all y'all. Breathe in, now exhale. Have a cuppa, doom scroll, whatever. Wait for the next intercellular transmission. Don't fuck this up or you're all toast. Good shot. Minnesota Boardwalk in the Upside Down. Operation Blitz. Fastest federal ride on the Midway Pier. You must be brown to enter. Taller than that boy in the leather coat to participate. Destination Salvador Death Camp if you don't produce a green card ticket, passport, or a real ID. It's now a funhouse death wish to intervene. Assassination road trip on the way home from grade school. Former poet Renee Good smiled, said to her ice assailant, "I'm not mad at you." An instant later, she became an unwilling stat of grace. He could have easily stepped aside. Instead, she caught 3 rounds, 1 in the face and 2 in the chest. When she attempted to move on as directed, federal SS agent perpetrator called her a bitch as he walked away unaffected. A schoolyard bully all grown up with a firearm, still playing army with a flak vest and camo, a real cowboy live ammo cap gun. For her fellow Americans, Renee achieved martyrdom. This was not what Renee dreamed of when she woke. Kissed her kids and caught the notification, fellow Minnesotans in trouble, whistles and silly string at the ready. Her transition, democracy's linchpin, hand grenade video on 9/11 repeat, remember? Hey, Ice Maggot. Guess what? Renee Nicole was a good Christian lesbian, mother of 3. Renee's wheel was turned away before the next 2 rounds murdered her. Coup de grace caught on film. You missed her wife. Eyewitness to her partner's doom outside the passenger side, traumatized forever. Operation Epstein Diversion Fury. God, that's a truthy title. Operation Epstein Diversion Fury. Airstrikes performed with butternut precision. Phoebe, Pete, and Donnie play with army men, killing 100 innocents on the very first day. Ain't it always the way? Ain't it always the way? Middle Eastern sandbox war game, ancient fertile crescent Teletubbyville. Strap on Ghislaine to a fat boy, she can take one for her tribe. Maxwell name Unsullied, forever known as the martyr perv. Fire in the hole, toasted cradle of civilization. What color will the landscape change when the blood-stained ground burst occurs? Will we see Pompeii mummies in agony, or Hiroshima shadow corpses cast in doll glass horror? My self-righteous inner gypsy screams, how many rockets does it take, Rocket Man, to make Jesus come again? We'll see, kiddo, we'll see.
It's called Fairyland. We live in that house. Hedges clutch at sky, vines leap forth to snag unwary passers-by. Beyond the gates, trees bow down over a sunken, muddy lane. Weeds bloom wild on either side. Parents hold their children close and hurry quickly past. A stump of Chinese elm beside the back porch tells our story. Roots in foundation, the old tree had to go. Too close to cut clean, its ruined pillar stands, gray, grained beside the steps. Atop one mushroom rises, generations of spores lost upon the wind. But love lends a glamour to my gaze. Around the fairy cap, a field of moss carpets its tiny plateau. In the yard beyond, pink jewelry, lab in lavender and green, crimson cannas rise. Swallowtails, honeybees, hummingbirds, all hover to feast. Letting my gaze cross the yard, I see, freed from their disguise, all the jewels of fairyland before my magic dies. Vertigo for Joe. At Little Round Top, that trip to Gettysburg, you leapt boulders like stones in a garden. Below, I stood watch, held my phone, ready to call medics. You bounced, shouted, waved. You showed off the farm where you kept horses. 3 massive creatures strode across the grass to nuzzle, like me, your fair beard. First 2 roans, then the white, You fed them chunks of apple. Those Sunday mornings when I slipped away from home to join you in your bed. Warren's always first, I told you. Of course, you said, and cupped my face with your palm. I brought you to my husband. He approved. We went to Wheaton, the place made fire glass. You told your stories, Warren told his. Dizzy from heat, I studied Warren's face, then yours. You drove us through tall hills to Eagle Mount. I rode white-knuckled the whole way. You dashed onto flat, wide rocks. Warren shrugged, followed. I crept out on hands and knees to join you both. You two chatted. You sat cross-legged. Warren daggered legs off a ledge. High above our perch, bald eagles drifted. Below them, falcons darted, seeking careless prey. I lay flat on my back, pretended the world beneath me wouldn't turn. It didn't work. I still feel those brief days whirl. Obad. Beard to beard, hairy bellies pressed tight, I study your eyes, still half closed from lust. I trace your lips with one finger. Your mouth opens just a little. I touch your perfect teeth. Your true love looked like me. He betrayed you. He did not take his pills. He grew ill. He died. You told me the tale. You don't want that again. But you are drawn to me, and I am drawn to you. You smile and close your eyes. You fall back. Your weight rolls down my hidden arm. I look along the length of bed. Our arms and legs gleam, entangled inlay of mahogany and pine. I know you will not call tomorrow. Still, I hope I've been as good to you as you have been to me. In the photograph by Moses Rice. In the photograph by Moses Rice, Walt Whitman and Pete Doyle sit in straight-back chairs set side by side. The chairs face opposite directions. The men look into each other's eyes. Both men wear hats. Walt is rumpled Stetson. Pete's bowler bears a wide, bright ribbon band. Pete wears his best light coat. Walt, a dark, baggy suit. Walter wears no tie. Pete's rests neatly on his chest. Slouched, Walt folds his arm. Peter sits upright. The two men sit in profile before a faded screen. Walt's eyes smile at Pete to encourage and to chide. Pete smirks his challenge back. Does his hand reach to grip the seat beneath Walt's leg? Does the back of his hand rub against a warmed wool? This thing we gay men do. We peer at yellowed photographs of men in pairs together. Buddies link arms and smile. A seated youth drapes his leg across his fellow's lap. Arms flung around soldiers, shirtless sailors grin. Cowboys waltz, eyes closed, as if remembering a dream. We seek a lidded look, parse our hidden love. So many years of being hated, hunted, driven from sight. Our love obscured, our history erased. We interrogate the men these pictures bring to us. Does their mugging mock the future, or is that their disguise? Do they dare stand close? Do they dare to touch an arm? Do they gaze into the lens, or maybe find each other's eyes? My love, will we so soon become a cipher too? When you and I first met, no friend took photographs of us. We made our own ways to celebrate our bond. Only now, after decades of our love, do we appear in photographs as one. Side by side on a garden bench, together on a boat. Sometimes I put an arm around your shoulder. Sometimes we embrace. In the photograph by Moses Rice, Walt Whitman and Pete Doyle sit in straight-back chairs side by side. They signify their love to all the passing years. Their gift to us come after. Topside. Cape May Lewis Ferry, 1978. Topside. Fog turns to mist. Cold drops pelt my face. You wear your watch cap, black wool pulled down to keep your ears from cold. Our ride scuds on rising waves. Wet wind drove the others off to the warm, lit concession. At tables inside, women and men cradle paper cups. Steam rises from some, from others not. One man who sits alone looks out to our deck. He can only see reflection. You spit over the rail. In demi light, the sun just set. I look at you and laugh. At the rail, you strike a pose, hand cupped beside your brow. You pretend to look far into invisible night. We stand so close I can smell your woolen cap. The boat thumps like a heart. In the safe dark, I reach my arm around your waist. Your wet hat rubs against my cheek. I turn my head. You look at me. You take my face in both your hands. Our beards mesh in a soggy kiss. Pirate treasure, discovered in a gale. Little song. They can't all be important songs. Tonight, you are all I see. Black hair tangles in my hand. I taste your mouth behind your beard, feel your heartbeat on my chest. Some other night, I'll essay saga, pen polemic, hew a hero's song to hurl the haughty down. I'll make the muses gasp, exalted and alarmed. But this is not that song. And sure, this tiny song will have its day and be forgotten. That's the way of little songs. Fire and flood, gods and war still rule the world. No quarter for mere words. Tonight, you sleep in the circle of my arms. I'll sing my own song. It's called The Man You Feared. I have become the man you feared. You never told me, but I knew. You stayed afar, sent no signal why. You sent me judgment and reproof. Each step halted, every word stopped. I grew up, you grew old, I moved away. I found my step, resolved to walk alone. I found my voice, I learned to sing. You died, your dread held tight inside. I found my love, the love you feared I'd find, this man who wakes beside me every day. He holds me still. Now we face the night. I have become the man you feared. Last call. Night's long gone. I loved to watch you dance. Mad spins around the barroom, arms flung wide, sometimes with a barmaid, sometimes stag. The patrons clapped and laughed for you and at you. I admired safely from the bar, guarding your beer and watching your back. My dancing always ended with broken chairs and broken glass. Regardless, at last call, in front of everyone, you led me to the floor and held me, arm in arm, chest to chest, beard to beard. We only swayed. The patrons stilled. They watched in silence to watch you dance in love. Tonight, I hold you in our kitchen. I remember those brave steps. I do not want our dance to end.
Earth Day. I say you can't see borders from space, just slices of fat land and blue elixir. He laughs. When did that ever matter? I say, you make money from different parts of the world. He talks about the history of empire and dictators cycling like water. I say nature flits like a pixie. Burning Siberian peat brought Anchorage soot. He says, not your fault. Sad. Enjoy your lucky life. I say, I am enjoying my friendships in Lviv and Kharkiv and want hamster and parakeet lives to go on. He says, arrive. 34 years, too late. Better than never. Look at the whole planet on your well-chosen plate. sweet and eyeing us both with suspicion, sickly and looking up at us with bright hope. And the next sonnet is based, I think, in part on the sentiment in Emily Dickinson's lines, "The soul selects her own society, then shuts the door." I feel like a lot of us are living in that experience, and it can be very healing and protective in difficult times. On the other hand, and I suffer from this as much as everybody else, it can also help us feel a little helpless, a little powerless. What are we doing all alone behind the door with some society? Oh my God. And so it often feels as if we can't, and we absolutely can and do, activate our communities and fundraise for poets and others. And we absolutely do. And so I just want us to remember this as I read this left-leaning sonnet from Maria Gopachenko. What can we do? What can we do? We can hide in a sonnet. It's milky, warm warmth. You look hot in a sonnet. Like a baby elephant. Pull the taffeta over your eyes. Turn off the news. But how to help others from under the word comforter? Stick out one hand. Poke the nearest suffering being. Hey, fellow victim. Hey, hola, привет. How's it all hanging? Do you need anything? I know about tragedies. Can I write one about you? Or sing the velvet car of my gazelle? Sell all my books and build a fervent sum and send. I would email you a son or my sturdy son, but don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? What have I done? The next poem is sort of it could be seen as a response to the one I just read, and it is about how we coped in the Soviet years, right, with the bullshit across the board that we were exposed to. And in the 70s and 80s, my grandparents in Odessa had this little summer home, really half a house, and a garden, which for the tiny me was this big, expansive space. Now I realize it wasn't that big, but it did have most of my favorite memories about Odessa, specifically my grandfather kind of crouching or squatting by the tomato plants, and we didn't have garden stakes, but he always had these ropes, and he would tie each tomato to a little string, which he would then tie to a string, and that was his meditation. He was absolutely silent. And to me, this tall man that people associated with being a fighter pilot in World War II, this 6'5" tall, very muscular guy, to me it was always really beautiful that he was so gentle and quiet in his own meditative way. So his spirit is carrying me on as I garden in Mount Airy. So this is Odessa, 1976 to 1990. Grandma and Grandpa bought their Eden from Sofia Israelevna. That translates as Sophia, Israel's daughter. She was an elderly doctor who had treated their children, and an old Bolshevik. But at that point, who cared? Eden was tiny bliss. A garden and a house, a few minutes from the concrete steps that led to the sea. Out of kindness, Grandma and Grandpa had taken Sofia, no car, no children, to her dacha in the summers. And Sofia allowed them to stay in paradise all summer long. She was right. There was light. When Sofia knew that death was near, and my grandparents knew a grandchild was on the way, she sold them her Eden for a song. And Grandpa sang, "Let there be hostas." And lo, there were hostas. And Grandma planned, let there be a porch swing, and both beamed. let's plant junipers on either side of the swing and rest with our guests in this 20th century of ours. I was born and I saw that it was home. The porch swings corduroy cushions, lapis lazuli sky, afternoons with a book. The skinny trees were trees of gossip. So easy to talk to their tiny blue cones when one does not yet know many words. What did they think of the sap that trickled up their skinny torsos? Did they know what they were made of? Did I? Can Grandpa truly command and destroy life, deciding to plant cucumbers this summer or not? As for serpents, I didn't find any. Doves could. We were expelled when I was 11. Cancer took Grandma. Grandpa decamped to a New Eden, California. To my parents, a resurgent communist junta lurked just beyond the apricot tree. My brave journalist father could be kicked out to much farther places. The morning we drove away, I did not know these concepts. To me, even the air there was a living soul. I have since learned the words, but it was. I've been learning Ukrainian, and so I ordered some books from Kyiv, as one does. And the books I ordered showed up on my porch in a nicely wrapped parcel. And on it said, "Warning books," which I loved because, let's count the reasons. One is there was no punctuation. It could very well be warning books, which is what I titled the following poem. It could be seen as a statement of a kind of weapon, a powerful voice for Ukraine. These were books in Ukrainian, right? Warning, books, don't touch. You can't destroy us. And of course, you can also kind of be sweet and literary and cautious, because they probably actually just meant careful books. But I choose to believe in this as like a statement of watch out, world. Warning books, with an epigraph from the Ukrainian poet Katerina Mikhailitsina, translated by Hanna Leliv. And the epigraph goes like this. It's about a man-made disaster in Kakhovka, Ukraine. You might remember a couple of years ago they destroyed a dam and a city and many villages, and so this is the epigraph. The fish speaks, there are so many dead, and the house drifts and listens. And this is the poem. A well-sealed package from Kyiv on my doorstep. English letters. Warning books. Warm weight. The books say, "We warned you, world, but you plugged your ears. Were we hard on you? We didn't mean to be. All we wanted is for you to look at the life our titles soaked up this deadly winter. Women looking at war. Ordinary people don't carry machine guns. Deoccupation. With love, Daddy." Why not read? Are you scared that war could come for you? But we're all just crumbs of aliveness on life's waterlogged island. The Ukrainian word for to look shares the root with to wonder. Don't think you can't learn. Last Little poem is another byproduct of learning Ukrainian. I love how that language sings and how long the words are. They call it the language of nightingales, or nightingale tongue. And it's as if, to me, it's as if the language is holding you in this nice, long, warm embrace. The title is made up of the Ukrainian word for plant and our word for plant. So, roslina plant. We are the bigger country, but you have better words. Plant, roslina. Ukrainian embroiders. Our Germanic roots, economize. It's over too soon, and did we enjoy the word? Person, людина, you sing. magnifying. And child, дитина, a more mature, detailed young person, gazing into the sky, garden, woods. Peony is pivonia. All feminine nouns, princess syllables, dressed in chiffon. Oh, to live like this, dressed in Ukrainian gowns.
Optic problem. Not yet, Langston. Since when is vision a problem? Do we wish for color blindness to put forth a good face effort in lieu of gazing directly at truth? Ignoring allows crusting like Langston's therapy suite. The optic topic, we're racist. The problem, our denial. What happens to a dream deferred? It becomes a nightmare. We hide from conversations, overdue, stalemated, and started by patriots, by emancipators, by reformers, by civil rights leaders. And now we pretend we have finished a dialogue that never really began. Adam and Randolph gave room for the kitchen table talks to start, where we all willingly go with company. But not yet, Langston, not yet. New America. The road is long, with many a winding turns, to who knows where. Morass it is, a bizarre logic, preventing you from being you makes me feel more. No desire to name who I am. I want to be your superior. So stopping you from being you gives me a purpose. Yet what I am is still undefined. I am, you is, we are the new Americans. Dining with American justice. I dab my quivering lips ever so daintily with a steel wool dinner napkin. I am served an ill-prepared meal on cracked blue-white earthenware. I stab infected bison, thrust it through my teeth with a pitchfork that pierces my palate. I tongue a chipped crystal glass of Chablis, which turns sanguine. I taste bitter grapes, then my goblet lips sips me, and I too am bitter. Correlations. No money, but automatic weapons. No book, but malnourishment. No ethics, but ignorance. Yet, correlations are disregarded. Poverty along with crime, literacy along with poverty, crime along with illiteracy. It's blankness and hopelessness, a correlation that doesn't quit. Jabberwocky, expecting truth. We wean, but we do not feed, or do we scream? Truth pregnant with pause, only to be born as a lie, born to be only, truth pregnant with claws. We breathe, but should we believe or should we bleed? Breeding with malice, truth disguised as a lie, disguised truth. Oh, it's the spoiled milk in the chalice. We sip, but should we swallow or should we spit? Petition, to solicit for favor, right, mercy. Re, a prefix to preface the root word, a verb, is acted upon again. I have petitioned for my rights. And if I ask for them again, is that repetition or repetition? In either case, when will I be heard? For only one night, Joe Louis Barrel, momentarily unniggered, will be trading gas, not for his race on this occasion. This time the stakes are significantly bigger. 6/22/38 will be the New Worldist theme, so he laces his gloves for humanity, an elevated runaway child who appreciates the seeming insanity, representing a country that will eventually demean, demoralize, and in time destroy him. Yet he clutches the illusion before reality claims him. For only one night, unniggered, he's an all-American boy. 5153 Christopher Street. The Stonewall Riots, New York City, June of 1969, and the LGBT is born, pushed into birth near Canal Street, born of short-haired women and long-haired men. This is not hedonism or Gomorrah. No, this is discovery on Christopher Street. Friday evening, the 27th, we wrestled the planned extinction. The passageway erupts like water breaking, and the afterbirth is the expulsion of helplessness. This marks the beginning of our identity and the commitment of warfare. War on discriminatory practice, war on oppressive actions, war on building closets. We, the oxymoron, soft men, hard women, fight for peace, a peace to be in our own right mind. It's called in lowercase letters. In large magical letters, LGBT or LGBTQ or any other letter that wishes to join. And he writes the disease, human immunodeficiency virus, and small, insignificant minuscule letters, HIV. To him, it has no power, even though people forget to be human, showing their deficiency, which has now gone viral. Last piece that I want to read is sort of condemning myself and all of us who keep mentioning Martin Luther King, because in a nice kind of way, he would say, who cares? Who cares? So this one is called April 4th, 2011, on the anniversary of. 43 years and billions of bullets have buried themselves deep into decomposing flesh. Gigamillions of tears have buried themselves deep into the cradle hands of weeping willows. Millions of promises have buried themselves sprouting into a lush meadow of crimson. Now we count the passing years, counting, always counting on someone else. Excuses a billion multiplied by a disinterested globe. Soldier strikes most deadly those who survive. For the purpose of gun is not to kill mortals, but their dreams. 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 40. Thank you.
Be without their bad puns. The line separating queer jokes from dad jokes is either pink and thin or non-existent. Why do straight men look older than me? Are their lives harder? Does adherence to the patriarchy give you wrinkles? I have been asked why are gays so sassy and witty. When words are the only weapons, we sharpen our tongues and our minds, and you are the whetstones. Mommy Dearest is so horrible. How can you gays laugh at it? It's called Come, darling. It's out of fashion, but some of us can still separate fantasy from reality. Are you a top or a bottom? I'm a side that not your business. What is your favorite sexual position, straight person? Did that feel too intrusive? Then why'd you bring it up? Am I losing the room? This is a side gig. I'm a poet. This is a poem. Comedians make more money, get more traction. I'll head back to the bookstore. This was just an experiment.
How can a language go mad? Heretic. Get out of the fucking car. 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 It's okay, dude. It's okay, dude. It's okay, dude. It's okay, dude. I'm not mad. 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 Drive, baby, drive. Drive, baby, drive. Drive, baby, drive. Drive, baby, drive. Drive, 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 drive. Thank you.
What I'm about to read to you includes descriptions, explicit descriptions of violence, including death of a child, interpersonal, domestic violence. I urge you to take care. On the bus over here, I checked the news as I was running late and read the following headline. Berks County parents accused of killing a one-day-old baby while in maternity room. Instead of a personal poem, tonight I'm going to read a story of a family friend of mine. The following can be found at law.cornell.edu, The People and Respondent versus James F. Cahill, November 25th, 2003. In early April 1998, defendant and his wife Jill signed a separation agreement, but continued to live under the same roof at their home in Spafford, Onondaga County, New York. On April 21st, during a pre-dawn heated argument, defendant struck Jill repeatedly with a baseball bat on the head. The couple's 2 young children were nearby, and Jill called out, urging them to call the police because their father was trying to kill her. After the attack, defendant phoned his parents for help. They soon arrived at the Cahill residence, along with the defendant's brother and a family friend who was also a physician. Having been summoned to the scene, the police found Jill lying on the kitchen floor, covered in blood, writhing in pain, and moaning incoherently. Her left temple was indented from the injury. The defendant and victim were taken to different hospitals. After hospital personnel treated the defendant for minor injuries, the police brought him to the station house for questioning. At first, he stated that Jill had instigated the argument and attacked him with a knife, causing the cuts on his body and some scratches. He claimed he struck her in self-defense in the head with a baseball bat. Defendant later admitted that he struck Jill with the bat when she was unarmed and that he had cut himself, making it look like self-defense. The defendant added that after the assault, he taped a length of garden hose to the tailpipe of his car in order to poison himself with carbon monoxide. However, he decided against suicide when he saw a rosary in the vehicle. In June of 1998, a grand jury indicted the defendant for assault in the 1st degree and criminal possession of a weapon in the 4th degree. In the months that followed, he and his attorney prepared for trial. In the meantime, there were custody proceedings in Onondaga Family Court, which placed the children with the maternal grandparents and an aunt. In addition, Family Court and Onondaga County Court issued orders of protection prohibiting defendant from seeing his children or entering the university hospital where Jill was confined. By one medical estimate, Jill had been hit at least 4 times in the skull. At the hospital, she underwent emergency surgery to remove a blood clot from her brain, and in the ensuing weeks, she suffered life-threatening complications. Eventually, she began to improve and was moved from the intensive care to the coma rehabilitation unit, later to the general rehab unit. By October of 1998, 7 months after the assault, Jill was able to recall the names of her children and had regained the ability to speak with short, simple words. On October 27th, 1998, after the hospital was closed to visitors, the defendant entered the premises in disguise. According to several members of staff, the defendant wore a wig and glasses, posing as a maintenance worker, complete with a mop and falsified name tag. Shortly after 10 p.m., a nurse detected a strong odor in the room and saw that Jill was having trouble breathing. There was a waxy-looking substance on her chest, and her hospital gown caused a burning sensation when touched. Despite efforts to revive her, Jill died the next morning. She had been poisoned. An autopsy revealed that potassium cyanide was administered through her mouth or feeding tube. Thank you.
Perennial hearts. Time heals all wounds, but heals in its own ways. What is to be said about unspoken thoughts? Time heals all wounds, that is what they say. Is it cruel? Like a broken foot healing in the forest? Or is it thoughtful? Like a broken foot healing with the loving care of a hospital. All wounds heal, life often does not. What is there to be said of beauty in such a tragic thought? What can we say of time, our minds, sweet drink of wine? Bottled memories, thoughts often feel fine. Some things are better with time. Indeed, a tired phrase like wine. Time can make the heart cold, even to a warm spring breeze. What do I speak of a forlorn heart? Am I speaking of my own heart? Time heals all wounds after all. From the soul does it start? I say today what I said yesterday, imagining today. Wounds are wounds. Hearts are hearts. That was yesterday. My thoughts today. Time marches on. Beautiful are hearts. Time heals all wounds, sometimes cruelly. Hope is in my heart. That is enough, my perennial thought. Ugh. Can I say one more real fast? And another one that was, if I memory of you, grains of sand on the beach, thoughts of yourself, new world account, but known in itself. Beautiful are our souls, even if they can't define themselves. Life is turbulent the seas. The world is often corrosive, shaping the shore as the seas fit. Salt water erodes seascape till we can't recognize the beach ourselves. Where do we fit? In those sublime moments, I pick up the sand, substitute my fingertips like an hourglass of time. Tens of thousands of grains, new world of thought, my life I can't think of you, and as time shapes us, grains of sand on the beach, new will count. Beauty in myself, I always see in you. Thank you for your time, and
Nightmare. Clouds crash through the window, their cargo uninspected. Sanity wavers. Rats feast on insulation, rewire the walls. Every twist of construction fence at daybreak shapes itself into conspiracy. Everything closes. Every book, every box, every door, every lock. This is how we spell final. When common becomes terrible and fear is knowledge, the man who saves me from the man who wants to shoot me, wants to kill me with a saw. If I open my eyes, a guarantee of slaughter.
It's just called You Talk to Me and It Comes Off the Wall. Now Dahlia sits in front of me and tells me how she can see the end of the world from her chair. The cigarette holder cradles a spliff, because, of course, and the smoky lines she draws in the air become a path, a road to some future where there is no such thing as a country and everyone she loves names themselves and there is no cankered chorus to dispute such truths, and the great plume dissipates and with it the misplaced hope of any beleaguered creature that called itself a nation. The clock hung tauntingly above her stairs clicks ever closer to the moment when the prophecy will exhaust her and she will walk me home through her front door. I am jealous that it is the one that gets to stay with her, but this is an older song than it or she even knows. My worst habit, the way I am drawn to those who tell me they know what's coming, even, especially, if what's coming drags a cape of shadow and doubt behind it. I've spent too much time regarding bridges and safety razors to see a calendar as anything other than a joke. It's less funny than it used to be. I've told it so many times, the words splinter as I spit them. I can tell you endless stories so long as they have nothing to do with memory. Time folds in on itself. That was gross, I'm sorry. Time folds in on itself if you stare at a peeling ceiling for long enough. Let your phone buzz unattended for hours. It turns into soft rain. Cosplay yourself into a bottle, get the spins. I'll show you how to turn them into wings. And yet, Dahlia tells me how she sees the world crack open, and for once I imagine myself there, wrenching tectonic plates back together, pulling the indifferent earth into a shape I can stand on. I need more time. A few minutes from now, we stand on her stoop and she lifts her shirt to reveal her belly, and for once, time is just linear and I have no words to get in the way, just lips. It is a small and humdrum future. This is what is known in the industry as a miracle. I want more time. Thank you.
Benjamin Franklin's wife took a chance on a freelance romance with a man she had glimpsed long ago on a cobblestone road in the morning, when he was a boy with his whole life before him, when if he'd had a penny, he'd have tossed it, unless he'd had a pocket. Now they lie side by side in the churchyard, remembering their lives, and Deborah dreams and schemes, and Franklin dreams his dreams of girls he's known besides his own, and boudoir keys and lightning. And people walking past glance askance at their mismatched names and wonder if a coin has more than two sides, or to how many brides the tides bore him, or whether it's true he adored them, or that when he went to London and when he went to France, the women tore his clothes off and wore them.
Don't you just want to go crazy? Don't you just want to smash a window, or set a fire, or steal a cop's gun, or cut your own bangs? The absurd is let loose. Doesn't it make you want to stand up on something, a table or a big box, and point and shout, "Everyone, look now! The absurd! Look at it go! It's marching down the street, arm in arm with the worst!" The absurd is a mixed metaphor of cops' guns cutting and fires smashing. The absurd and the worst mixing the metaphors together. And the absurd is a boot on our neck. Isn't it the worst? Doesn't it make you want to go crazy? To get nuts, to get weird, be strange, make a point, make a stand, give a shit, please. Just give a shit with me. It's absurd. It's the worst. It makes me want to go crazy. It makes me want to smash a window, mix a metaphor, steal a cop's fire, use it to stand up on a box, shout a stolen gun, and cut my own bangs. Straight across this time. Flat bangs as a metaphor for a smashed box, a cop on fire, and the absurd with a gun. Come on, go crazy with me. Come on, now is your chance. The absurd is a boot on my neck and it isn't even a metaphor anymore. Please, smash a window. Set a fire with me. Steal a cop's metaphor. Mix it up at gunpoint. And someone, anyone, please help me cut my fucking bangs. The absurd is goose-stepping now. Pretty hard to mix that one up. The worst is smashing the weird. The crazy is on fire, and the strange hasn't been seen in weeks. A mixed metaphor is a boot on my neck, so the absurd doesn't have to get his hands dirty. But now's our chance. Smash a window, set a fire, steal Cop's metaphor while he isn't looking. Please just do something, or anything. Someone, please, just go crazy with me. Shove off the boot with me. Show the absurd and the worst in the mixed metaphor what kind of crazy we can go. We can all go. Absurd boot on absurd neck as absurd mixed metaphor of the worst. It's now or never. We can all go crazy together. We can all stand up on a box. The same box, why not? It's just a metaphor. We can all shout crazy together. Smash some fires, steal some metaphors, cut our own bags together. Do something weird, do something strange, do something crazy, do something that matters with me. The absurd is marching on us. The fire and the cops' guns aren't even a metaphor anymore. It's just now or never. It's we can go crazy now or do something that matters never. And I got a little short one. So this is a haiku. So nobody's all keyed up. It's something funny. All right. So it's called. This haiku's titled "Is the Punchline." We got it? Is the punchline. There is a cleverness to the joke that I am making because of the title. Okay. Thank you, everybody.